something that I wanted to say to everybody out there. And this doesn't matter where you lie on the political spectrum. If you're part of Team Gold, Team Green, Team Blue, Team Red, whoever, I wanted to say it doesn't matter if your team wins this thing or loses this thing. This election is definitely not the most important thing in life. Every 4 years or so, we get really worked up and caught up in the election. We get caught up in the politics and we argue on Facebook and Twitter. And we forget that this isn't the most important thing in the world. And a lot of us get blinded by the fact that you have people out there who are saying things like, this is the most important election of our lifetime, which I have heard every election since I started voting. So either they are lying or none of them are all that important. And just yesterday I was sitting at Muddy Water Kava Bar, no relation. I was sitting at Muddy Water Kava Bar, working on the notes for this show, and I heard somebody unironically say that this election is a battle for America's soul, which I understand Biden is out there saying it all over the place. And my immediate thought was, well, that shit went away decades ago. That shit went away.
Centuries.
Right. All 1800s. The most important things in this world aren't politics. Yeah, we have fun. We come here and we talk about them because it's fun. It's entertaining. It's entertainment for us. But the most important things are our families, our friends, giving, receiving love, never giving up hope, taking moments to realize that even though it feels like this world is going to hell, we have to remember certain things. We have to remember that not long ago, child labor was prevalent across the globe. And nowadays, a few parts in Africa still have it, some in China, but it is not a massive thing anymore. And a lot of that has been brought to you by capitalism, by people being able to expand businesses and offer better opportunities for everybody. Not long ago, women didn't have the right to vote.
100 years.
100 years, right. And pretty much all across the globe, not all the way. A few areas still don't let that happen, and the Vatican, which not surprising on either of those. Members of the LGBTQ community, they can now go around this nation without fear of persecution legally because of the changes that have been enacted. We're not living under a military draft. We don't face polio. Getting the common cold won't kill you. We aren't being treated with leeches anymore. Slavery is illegal. Slavery is legal across the globe. And while a lot of these things still happen, we aren't faced with them on a day-to-day basis like they're going to come and attack us and just grab us. I don't care what MSNBC, what Fox News, what CNN, or MSNBC, I don't care what any of them say to you about this. Like, these are not things that most of us need to fear on a daily basis. So whenever all the votes are tallied from this thing, don't lose your mind about this election. That is so important. Do not lose your mind about this election, and realize that slowly the libertarian ideals that we have been pushing for decades are starting to become mainstream, and they're starting to work their way into the common thought process of everybody out there. And the libertarian ideas, they are ideas that aren't won and lost in an election. They are fought. They are fought for with gnashing of teeth and the blood of people who truly, honestly believe in it. And that's through people dying over their belief systems, and it's through people who are out there every day pounding pavement, doing whatever they can to make change. And no matter how it all ends, tonight, later this week, whatever, or whenever the Supreme Court decides we're going to make that decision and give it to Trump, it doesn't end the fight that all of us, everybody watching the show, is involved in. And we have some of the best fighters I've ever had the pleasure to work with. We have people like Jason. I am so glad I got that point right. We have people like Jason. We obviously have Spike Cohen. We have people like Tom Arnold, Chrissy Wickers, Ian Peake, Anthony Welty, Dan Berman, Donald Rainwater, many, many, many others. People who are out there fighting every day to make a difference, who are working every day to make sure that the libertarian ideals become part of the mainstream to a greater level. And even though it feels like we lose elections if we don't get 5%, or it feels like we lose elections because Donald Rainwater didn't get the 20%, that's not a loss. Because a few years ago, he wouldn't have gotten 12.
Mm-hmm.
A few years ago, Ricky Harrington, when Tom Cotton dropped out, he would not have had the debate without Tom Cotton. They would have just said, well, no, there's no point to having you here. Things are changing. So no matter what, keep your chins up. This is a long, long race. This is more than a marathon. This is a lifelong race. And not this election or any election result will knock any of us off the path from fighting for liberty for everybody out there. So no matter what, please do not lose your mind after this election. You have to stay just as excited as we're going to stay, because none of us are going to be done. We are all going to continue to fight in our own special ways. Mine, Spike's, Jason's might be sitting here and making fun of absolutely everything. Yours might be somewhere more conventional.
Yes, we cannot give up, and I want to just add on to that, and it's not going to be nearly as elegant or as beautiful, but we all transitioned to the stance of liberty. None of us were born into this. None of us were born and just said, I have this highly sophisticated, highly intelligent way that I want to live my life where I don't hurt people and take their stuff. We all adapted to this over time. Right. I came from the right side of the aisle. I came from the conservative side. You may have come from the left side of the aisle, but we all came to the idea of liberty, and we agree upon those core values together. And how we did that was oftentimes we had seeds planted. We weren't overturned overnight. We didn't wake up one day and just go, I'm suddenly a principled libertarian. It was those small things. And so like what Matt was saying, with Rainwater, with that 12%, right? Out of those 12%, how many of those didn't think of libertarian in a favorable light before they heard of Rainwater?
That's true.
So how many seeds did he plant? And how is Indiana changing just because of those 12%? How are they going to change next election? How are they going to change in 2022 and 2024? And so this is a long haul, as Matt said. This is for the longest marathon ever. This
Right.
isn't just for the 23 miles. This is for 100 miles. This is for 200 miles. This is for 1,000 miles. And if you ever feel discouraged, if you ever feel beaten up, give me a call. Let us know. We here at Muddy Waters Media will help pick you up and keep trekking on, because we cannot give up on this. We want to see freedom in our lifetime, and we're not willing to give up, and so we won't give up on you either.